Jackson Shelstad's that guy. I love when he's that guy. This was actually Nate Bittle's the reigning Big Ten Player of the Week. He had 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Oregon won their 4th straight over Wisconsin on Saturday. Not 4 straight over the Badgers, but just their 4th straight game after a 5-game losing skid in which we were firing Dana Altman and punting on the season. Well, here we are. Here we are. We're back and better than ever. Off until Saturday when USC comes to town. Then it's a home game against Indiana and a road game at Washington. That's how the regular season ends leading up to the Big Ten tournament. I mean, this has just been such an up and down year. But if Oregon can keep this heater going, boy, I like that momentum into the tournament. But Jackson Shelstad, just the smoothest step back 3 imaginable. It reminded me of in his true freshman season last year at home against Michigan. He hit this 3 from way outside to beat the Wolverines. Now, that Michigan team wasn't actually good, but this Wisconsin team was really good. And the 3 teams that Oregon had beaten going into this game were teams they should have beaten, that you looked at on paper and said, oh, Oregon's favored. They should beat. This team isn't that good. They should win that game. They won those games. They found a way to win at Iowa, despite the officials' best attempts to give that game to the Hawkeyes. They beat Northwestern. They beat Rutgers. And you said, okay, everything's kind of stabilized. But I didn't have high hopes for that Wisconsin game. Wisconsin's good. Wisconsin was the number 11 team in the country. You're playing them in Madison. And they just went in there and erased a 17-point deficit in less than 22 minutes of game time with 1:42 to play. In the first half. Obviously not in the game. That would have been crazy. 1:42 to go in the first half. Oregon trailed by 17 points. And they came back and won on the road. This was awesome. This was awesome. My brother and I were going nuts. Absolutely crazy in line because I just want, once Oregon got down big, I really wasn't stressing about it. Like, they got the stabilizing wins they needed. Like, it's all good. Then they just kept chipping away. They were down 14 with 5 minutes to go. They found a way. Gave up 2 points over that stretch. Scored a bunch. Did the little things. Ratcheted up the effort on defense. Defense wins it for them every time. Every single time. But the offense continues to be pretty darn productive. Bad first half, great second half. That averages out to a decent game on the road. Hostile environment, found a way. Bittle was brilliant. They had no answer for him inside. If you don't have a big who is, kind of wide and physical, that can push Nate Bittle around because he's a little bit skinnier and he's not, clearing space like Dante was, he can struggle. But if you can't, he's going to kill you. His hook shot is lethal. Oregon had interior paint scoring. That's been a rarity at times. Bittle had 23 and 6. Keyshawn Bartholomew and Jackson Shelstad combined for 27 points and made 5 threes. Bam Tracy had 11 points off the bench. KJ Evans off the bench, 10 points, 9 rebounds, and a block. 9 rebounds for KJ Evans off the bench, including a big one late in the game. He had an offensive rebound and putback when Oregon was making their run to send it to overtime. Now, they got some gifts in this game. Wisconsin was just kicking and throwing the ball. They look like the Oakland A's in Moneyball. The A's are throwing and kicking it all over the field, and it might lead to their elimination. So Oregon forced a turnover, down 3. I thought they botched the review and gave it to Wisconsin, unless they had an angle that I didn't see, but I thought it was off Wisconsin pretty clearly. They gave it to the Badgers, who then inbounded the ball. Guy drops it and kicked it off his leg. And then they inbound to Shelstad, leaps in the air, catches it. He's deep on the left wing, and he just goes pull back, step back, all nylon. And he gave a little Peyton Pritchard at Washington from a few years ago and let the crowd know how he felt about that shot. And then, my favorite part. Okay, no, the shot going in was my favorite part. But an underrated part was after that, Wisconsin plays it out. They had a timeout, decided not to use it. Go down, get a bucket. Not a bad strategy. I kind of like that. You don't let a defense get set, and you don't have to inbound the ball in a pressure spot again. Shelstad was the one defending Wisconsin's player who put up a shot for the win at the buzzer, hit the front of the rim. Then in overtime, it was back and forth, and then Bittle came alive. Oregon made enough free throws, and they got a 77-73 win. This was so awesome. So awesome. Best win, I don't know. Alabama's really good. Really good. They beat another ranked team the other day. I think they beat them by like 10, 15 points or more. Alabama's really good. So that might be the best win of the year. But this was the best road win of the year. True road game. Win your fourth straight. And this did wonders for two things. Number one, the confidence in that locker room has to be back after a 5-game losing skid that they pulled that off. And then number two, did wonders for their seeding. Going into this game, after 3 straight wins, they'd been bumped up from a projected 8 seed to a projected 7 seed, which I felt was appropriate because they beat 3 teams in a row, but they weren't actually that good. None of those are tournament teams, but still, you get credit for winning. They go on the road and beat number 11 Wisconsin. I checked bracketology earlier today. What do you know? Oregon's back up there as a 5 seed. If they end the regular season with 3 straight wins, and again, they play teams in the bottom half of the conference here. 2 of 3 at home. USC, Indiana, and then at Washington. Rivalry games, anything can happen. I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to wind up going 2-1. But if they go 3-0 and pick up one quality win in the Big Ten tournament, they could be looking at a 4 seed. They could be looking at a 4 seed. And that changes the calculus on your first round game dramatically. 12 seeds beat 5s every year, right? We all know those bracket rules. Got to pick a 12. 12 always wins. 12 won last year. 12 has won. It's something like 21 of the last 25 brackets. At least one 12 seed has won. They regularly go 2-2. You flip that to the 13 seed against the 4 seed, it's not the same. It's not even close. There's something about that cutoff line. But this felt out of reach for Oregon a week ago. It's not anymore. So they've been projected as high as a 3 seed at one point this year. 5-game losing skid has seen to the fact that that won't happen unless they go in the Big Ten tournament and beat 2 to 3 really good teams, which they could get that opportunity. They'd have to then win those games. But if you go into that Big Ten tournament and beat a Michigan State, Wisconsin again, and one other way, yeah, you could climb up back to a 3 seed. But I think the ceiling here from a seeding standpoint is probably 4, because they're currently sitting at 20-8. But if they end the regular season 22-9, that locks them into, I don't think, any worse than a 6 seed. But if they end the regular season 3-0, if, that's an if. The stumbles can always arrive. But this win was so huge. Legitimately, I don't think this will happen. But Oregon could probably lose their next 3 games and still make the tournament at 20-11. They have too many good wins for them to get left out. Even if they lose their next 3 games in their first game in the Big Ten tournament. They could be one of those ugly 20-12 teams, and you're like, they beat a bunch of really good teams. Yeah, they have. That's why you play a tough non-conference and why you need to win those games for moments like that. But if Oregon can keep playing the way they're capable here, you go 3-0 down the stretch and one quality win, a 4 seed. 4 seed, that is my current dream. So, all hope was lost, but we're back. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.